I was reading Jim Collins' book last year, his latest book called Great by Choice. One of the things that he talks about when he's talking about great leaders is how some of the things about great leaders we misunderstand and may sound very negative in life, because most great leaders work and plan on things going wrong. I know that we hear, no, great leaders just say everything's going to go right. I'm always going to be positive. It'll always go my way. I'm going to believe that this is going to happen and it will happen. And the truth is, those leaders don't last very long. They don't, because they get totally caught off guard when things don't go well in their life. In the second chapter of his book, he talks about two guys that in the early 1900s both had great experience as far as exploration is concerned, and they were involved in a race to the South Pole, and it was kind of an epic race. Both of them started about the same time, both similar ages, but two totally different approaches. And a guy named Amundsen, who was the one who eventually won, he had a totally different approach. He planned on all the things that could go wrong. It's not because he's a pessimist. It's not because he wants things to go wrong. Listen, it's because he understands things will go wrong. And so I'm going to plan on those things going wrong and prepare myself so that when they do go wrong, I'm not caught off guard. Scott, the other guy who prepared totally different. He did not work near as hard. He didn't train near as hard. He didn't prepare near as hard. He staked his adventure on new technologies, listen, that had not been tested. No one knew what they would do down in the South Pole in the extreme cold that they would face. And that's what he built himself on. Not been tested. See, here's the thing about being a Christian. The Bible's been tested. It's been tested. I remember somebody told me, he said, well, you just have a blind faith. I did not have a blind faith. I built my faith on something that generations and generations and generations and generations before me have built their faith on. It's tested. You can go back historically for thousands of years and look at those who have built their faith on God Himself, on Christ Himself for 2,000 years after knowing who He is. And you can see those people have a strong, a firm foundation. And if you can't test it, if you can't challenge it, this is the thing that always is strange to me. I understand why we do it, but people with their faith don't allow it to be challenged, don't allow it to be tested. I'm not going to speak of a religion that we are struggling with some terrorists, but if you challenge it, same thing. We eliminate you. If it has to work that way, it doesn't work. And there's nothing wrong with someone challenging what you believe. Because if it's sure, if it's strong, if it works, it can be challenged. That may sound negative. It's not negative. It's positive. It means that it works. So Edmondson and Scott, they both went on this journey. One prepared well for all the things that would go wrong. He actually won the race. Scott, who did not prepare well, not only did he lose the race, he and his entire group did not survive the journey, because they ran out of food, they ran out of supplies, they ran out of shelter, because they did not plan on the things that could go wrong and going wrong. What was really interesting, when Edmondson came back, he never mentions luck. He never mentions, the difficult times, because he planned on those things. He knew things would go wrong. When they went back and they found Scott's diaries as he passed away, because he kept a diary of it, that's all he talked about. Bad luck. Didn't go the way I thought. Hoped it would be different. Whatever. Because he had not planned on those things. I'm not talking about scare tactics. I'm not talking about, people that run around and the world is ending and trying to get you, to do something extreme. I'm just saying that God says you're going to go through difficult times. Life's not going to be easy. And if you build a strong foundation, a firm foundation, if you go deep, what happens is you find yourself built on something that will take you through those difficult times, those struggles.